Okay, I'm back. Where were we? Wrestling winds and sonoros is the adjective that describes what kind of storms they are. They are like howling, roaring, some sort of loud word storms. These are the accusative thing. We still haven't gotten our verb yet, so we don't know what King Aeolus is doing in his giant cave. So, here we go. Imperio prement. Premits are verb. Premere means to push or press. So here it can mean the idea of controlling. He's controlling. So what's he controlling? The wrestling winds and howling storms. And how is he doing that? That's the imperio. That's the ablative of means, says the book. He's controlling them by means of power, sort of with power. Ak is a fancy way to say et, and, so you may see ak again, so it'd be a good one to remember. And vinclis et carcere frenat. Vinclis et carcere are both ablatives, so you can skip over them for now. Frenat is a verb that means, like it's a word like to break your car, like to make it stop. So it means to rein something in. It's also the word for reins on a horse, like to pull a horse in. So there's going to be a lot of horse imagery, like he's controlling the winds like they're horses. So it means to rein in, like to pull back. And then we have some more ablatives of means. He pulls them back by means of vinclis et carcere. And the book will tell you vinclis really should be vinculis, but that's a long short long, and it won't scan in dactylic hexameter because we can't have any long shorts, any trochees. So we got rid of the U. Vinclis. By means of chains, and carcere is really a prison, so you can say imprisonment, with chains and imprisonment. So he's chained them up, he's imprisoned them in his large cave. Okay, so that sentence is done. Ili indignates. We're talking about the winds now. Ili means those, and we're referring back to the winds that he's reigned in. Those indignantes, you can see again the nt there tells you it's a present active participle. So you're going to translate it with an ing. It means to be angry. So those being angry, and because it doesn't sound very good in English, whatever the verb is, you can always say angrily. They did something angrily. But it really is an adjective. Being angry, or the book says chafing, like to be upset, chafing. They magno cum murmure montis. And I hope you can hear that. Magno cum murmure montis. It's a great alliteration. Magno cum murmure is a phrase that goes together, and it's an ablative of manner. Ablative of manner say, how do you do it? Not physically, but it's like he fell with a loud crash. So how did he fall? The building erupted with a huge, crash. It's not unusual. In fact, it's normal to see the adjective outside being the first word, and then the cum, and then the noun. This is like when you graduate, you'll graduate magna cum laude or summa cum laude. It's normal that it's magno cum murmure, but that magna really describes what kind of murmure it is, with a great rumble, roar. Murmure is just a word for a noise. Montis is the genitive of mons. It goes mons, montis. So it's a great murmur or rumble of the mountain. So I made a little note to myself. That's an alliteration. It sounds like a wind, mum, 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 mum. It sounds like murmuring, because murmur is an automatopoetic word. It's an onomatopoeia, because it's just the sound for noise, like murmur, 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 murmur. And so murmur is onomatopoetic. It sounds like what it is. So noise is not onomatopoetic, but murmur is. So what are they doing? We still don't know. They, being angry, with a great rumble of the mountain, circum claustra. Make sure that for every preposition, you know it goes with the preposition. And it's going to help you translate. So circum means around. We're looking for around what? Claustra. Usually prepositions are pretty close to what they go with. Claustra comes from the word to close. It's a barrier, or sometimes it can be a word for a door. You can say barrier or bolt. Around the barrier, and this is what we do. They do. We finally get it. Fremo, fremere means to murmur or to groan or to roar. There's a lot of the same kinds of words in here, but you need to make sure you pick different words in English if they're different words in Latin. So murmure means to murmur. So for fremunt, you can say they roar, they groan, any kind of word like that. So those ones, being angry, with a great rumble of the mountain around the barriers, they roar. And you can put that into better English if you'd like. They roar around the barriers with a great murmur of the mountain. All right. Kelsa is ablative. It has a long A. I put that in there. It means lofty. And the thing that's lofty is the arche at the end of the sentence. And it's ablative of place where. So in the lofty, and an arche is a throne or a fancy seat of some kind. So in a lofty throne, sedet Aeolus. Sits Aeolus. Remember, he's the king of the winds. So he's got a throne. Skeptra tenens. Tenens, NS. We've been seeing a lot of these, right? NS, when it's describing something that's nominative, it's going to have an NS. So it's describing Aeolus. So you could say, like, what does it modify? That just means, what does it describe? Tenens modifies Aeolus. In a lofty throne sits Aeolus holding. A skeptra is a scepter. And here it's plural just because it's poetic plural. It's neuter. So that's why it's an A. Because it'd be skeptrum. And the plural of skeptrum is skeptra. It's like a big staff or a scepter. Okay, so he sits molitque animos et temperat eros. We have a que and an et, so make sure you say both he does something and he does something. He both molits the animos and he temperats the eros. Molit means to soften. We have the word mollify, like to soothe someone. So to mollify someone means to make them calm. He calms the animos, the spirits, and he temperats the eros. Temperat means to calm, to control, to temper. He controls the eros, so the angers. And the book tells you there's an understood ventrorum of the winds, the spirits of the winds and the angers of the winds. So he's there, he's not just keeping them in check, he's not just imprisoning them, but he's also trying to calm them down. A really good example of a word picture is in line 52. These are fun to find. Hic vasto rex Aeolus antro. So King Aeolus is sitting in a big cave. So you can see King Aeolus there. He's in sort of the middle. And the words King Aeolus are inside the words for vasto antro, for vast cave, for big cave. So the meaning of the words is reflected in the placement of the words. You could call this, if you wanted, you could call this A, B, B, A. Right, the A's go together, vasto antro, the B's go together, rex Aeolus. A, B, B, A is an example of a chiasmus. Right, that's what that's called, ABBA. The chiasmus is the dancing queen of rhetorical devices. So you can always find that, and you can see that the A's are encircling the B, just like the cave encircles King Aeolus. So that's cute. So we have alliteration in line 51, chiasmus in line 52, alliteration and onomatopoeia in line 55, and that's all I've got. All right, I'll see you on the next page.